Good day, everyone. Today we're going to be looking into how to use computer accounting software for your AAT assessment, which is your most of the time the last unit on the foundation accounting certificate qualification from AAT. This is mostly going to be what do you call Sage at the moment. They don't use different softwares, but on the AQ 2022, accounting software has been phased out, and it's going to be introduced to the Access Award instead of being in the full level 2 accounting qualification. Therefore, this is the last time you're going to come across Sage as one of the part of the foundation accounting software module. And then, of course, you also have to remember most of the time nowadays, the businesses are using various different kind of accounting softwares, and most of them are now cloud-based as well. So the relevancy of using accounting software while you at a business, it depends on what sort of business it is, but the fundamentals are all going to be same. And it is also very important to remember this is not about learning accounting. It's about how to enter the data correctly in the system. And most of the time, using accounting software tend to be the very high scoring unit with AAT students, historically from the last 6-7 years or so. Even before that, I'm not sure. On AQ 13, it used to be getting the highest competent rating as well. And on the AQ 2016, it was average the students from where I'm from, and they used to get above 90 with such ease. And this is something will give you a boost on your overall rating. So let's get into that one. Let me just bring the screen first. Let me share my desktop instead of my. Okay, so here, this is the main screen for the AAT website. So let me go into there and start. And then once you get into the screen, it says there you have 2 hours 15 minutes for the exam. I'm pretty sure we can get that done and dusted very quickly compared to this 2 hours and 15 minutes. Once you have relevancy, how to use your keypad properly, because I'm going to using my a laptop here, but most of the time in your exams, you will be using computers. And so you have your keypad on your right-hand side of your keyboard. And if you master that part, and then that's going to save a lot of time there. And you will be seeing me not using too much of the mouse, because the mouse tend to make you a bit slower when it comes to data entering, because this software is all about data entry in there. Okay, and of course you need to know a bit of a fundamentals. So let me just scroll down here. We're going to look at it here. This is the software's, the accounting scenario. And then also there are some information here which you may have to use while you're doing it. So in this exam, you can set this information up before you even start the exam. So you probably have 5-10 minutes to get this all done. So to do that, I'm going to just go in here, and then I'm going to open Sage software. It doesn't have anything here. In that case, I'm going to just start it with here, add a company. Don't change nothing here, because here on this screen, whatever you're going to do, please do not change on the exam if you ever got to get to there. Most of the time, this will be already set up for you. You'll be on the main screen. But if you haven't been on the main screen, just follow this prompt. Just put this information here. Now what we need to do, I need to find a way so I can split that screen with this. So here, and then I'm going to bring my Sage up now. Yeah, so let me just press cancel a little bit. What I'll do, let's see, I can split the screen a little bit up like this way. Yeah, so this way I can see a little bit better, I think. Let me see. Okay, that's why you don't go through this kind of a phase when you're doing the exam. So let's see the race. The address 1 Street, and the street name is is LM6 1 2 Romeo Tango. And then, of course, if you have some other information here, which it's not showing there, so that's fine. So we can move on. Always use sole trader. Do not use limited company or partnership because the questions you'll be getting, it will show you capital. So therefore, this is not going to be a limited company or a partnership now. So here, this is where the students have the struggle. So normally, if you look at this questionnaire here, it says there 30th of June is the end of year and set the financial year to start on 1st of June on the current year. So I'm going to give you a quick trick now. Here, I'm going to use June 2021 because you have to remember, even if you're doing accountancy in what do you call it, on an exam format, always tend to remember this is financial accounting you're doing now. So you cannot do something on the future date. So for example, if I choose June 2022, because I'm recording this video in June 14th, that means you cannot have something to enter in the system on 30th of June. It's by philosophy, you cannot do something for future. So you cannot data anything for data enter anything for the future. Therefore, I'm going to go back a year just to facilitate this particular scenario. So in case if you receive May, if you're sitting for the exam in June, that's absolutely fine. You can use 2022. But if you get June or July or August or anything after that one, go for the year just lapsed. So 2021, if it's going to be June, July, August, or anything like that way, if it's going to be January, February, March, April, May, you can choose up to 2022 because, of course, whatever you're going to enter is going to be from the past, not future. So it's philosophically talking about accounting must be done for the historical data, not a future data. So you cannot have the conflict of having to enter anything for a future data. If you've done that, so it's fine. But philosophically, I suggest students, even if they say current year, the current year is supposed to be for the previous year because we are talking about as a whole financial year. So you cannot have something for a future transaction. So here I have chosen June 2022. I'm just keeping this copied anyway. So we just need to know we have to enter that VAT registration number here. So it's going to be 7811633367. And obviously, all of you know, VAT rate is going to be 20%. So here, next. Most of the time, it will not ask you to prompt for a password. If ask you for a password, if it ever comes up on that screen here, I'm just going to choose something which I normally remember, but I can't disclose what it is. And of course, trying to keep it simple. And then, of course, you will be able to carry on with it. If you discard it, the problem is Sage will not allow because obviously this is secure software. So let's move on. So now you're on that screen to customize company. So you haven't started the exam yet, but you'll be able to do some customizations. So I'm going to get to there in a minute. Let me say what's the customize is. Customize companies, you'll get to a screen now. You can preset certain aspects of your data entry, which you're going to do later, which is going to be mostly about the defaults, customer and the supplier defaults. Why that is important? Because sometimes people tend to forget about, agreeing terms like here, when you're setting up a customer or your supplier, when you go into setting up that screen. But now if you preset these terms agreed now on this screen, set up now for supplier as well. That means you will not get a pop-up window stating, oh, you haven't agreed terms with your suppliers and customer. Because normally in real life, you should agree terms with them to see how long you're going to give the credit, isn't it? It says there, when your credit supplier records that you enter, such as credit limit, aging period, and discounts to apply, you need to agree terms. Okay, so these are the things. It's very important you do that beforehand, and it saves you a lot of time. So here I have done that now. There's nothing else you have to do after this because these are, basically nothing. Okay, and there's no real other things tested here, to be honest. So let's close this now. Let's get to the main screen. Okay, so this is the main screen, and we're going to talk about a couple of things you need to be doing straight away. The first thing is, wait for this, go into company configuration. So if you go into configuration, there also you have something called terms. So this terms window, people tend to forget about this because normally a customer and supplier will be given 30 days. So we'll see here supplier trading terms and the customer trading terms. We'll set that to 30 days here. In case you have something different, we can change it always later on. But this is we're setting as default. That means every new customer you enter, they will automatically have this 30 days. And then also, please be wary of settlement discount. If you say settlement discount, how many days, that is simply for your prompt payment discount. Please do not populate that box because that text box is basically going to be left at 0 because we're not going to be talking about prompt payment discount while we're doing Sage here. And then you press apply and then close. So now you're on the main screen. And the second thing we're going to do, we're going to set the program date. The program date for the first few tasks, whilst you are entering your opening balances, like for your customers, suppliers, and your general accounts, tend to keep them on the first of that financial month. Okay, for example, if you're in June 2021, the date must be 01/06/2021 there. Press OK. And then obviously you will see here these two information matches. But then now, after we entered all our opening balances, we can always update that to the last day of the month before we enter your day-to-day transactions, like invoices, credit notes, your payments, receipts, your recurring entries, journal entries, everything can go on the last day of the month. Okay. So what we're going to do now, I'm going to keep that as it is. And then I'm going to show you one more thing before we start the actual exam. So here, go into settings and company preferences. If you think you have made a mistake on your initial company name entry, or if you left it blank by accident, you may be able to go to this settings company preferences. You will be able to update that company information. So in case you start the exam and the information is not already been given, you're on the main screen now, you go into company preferences, and then you can type that information. Similar to the terms agreed screen, you can go into your customer defaults, and then notice you get to the same screen. You can press terms agreed here, or you can go settings, supply defaults. You have the terms agreed here. That's the only thing you need to be worrying about in this particular exam. So now, let me see whether I can find a decent mouse pad. I think I have one somewhere here, waiting for me. Yes, I'm on mouse pad now. Yes, very important. You have your tools of trade ready before you diverge into that one. So let me go into the secure access screen, bring the screen up. I'm going to slightly zoom out so I can see the start button. File full screen. We'll zoom out. Here you go. I can see the start screen now. So I'm starting the exam. I even haven't started the timer yet, but already preset everything I need. So please remember, set up your company, do your defaults, do your, the terms agreed bit, and then of course set your program dates before you even start your exam. And then if you look at that, this exam for 2 hours and 15 minutes, and then you have to upload all these evidences. So you have 8 evidence to upload, and then 13 tasks to complete. But everything will be done and dusted in time. Because it's the mock exam, I cannot show you how to upload because here it will not have the facility to do it. But once you have the files, I'll give you a brief description of what is going to be happening here. So now what I'm going to do quickly, toggle full screen, I will create a folder here on my desktop, new folder, raise name simple as it is, and then you have to save your evidences according to the information they have given here. Okay, so here if I go to my exam, you have to remember the evidence that has to be saved, UACS evidence number 1 and your AAT membership number .pdf, and then also remember some other file formats are allowed. So for certain tasks, when you have evidences, you have to do a screenshot. For the screenshot, we'll be using a different software which will save that as a PNG format. So the screenshot can be used as well. So if you look at that here, PNG, JPG, GIF, or bitmap file. These things are allowed as an evidence. You don't have to save them necessarily on a Word document. Okay. Okay, let's get into the file phase of it. So here, the assessment booklet, I'm going to download. So here, if you click on this, it has opened the PDF file now. So you don't need this screen for your AAT exam anymore. What I'll do, I will minimize this, and then let's go into Sage and the accounting software file. So here I'm going to zoom out a little bit, so I don't need all of that. So then I'm going to split the screen into this format, and then of course I use a different way. It's easier because PDF it's not going to be that suitable this way. Give me a second, please. I have the file somewhere here. Because the laptop windows tend to be a bit smaller, therefore I don't have much of the scope to use this one without impeding onto my accounting software. So I may have to shrink it a little bit so I can see that all together. Okay, I think I should be fine now, but I'm not taking it for granted. See, I cannot make it any smaller than this, but there you go. I will be fine. I'm always going to think the positive way. Just move it along this way, and then let's get on with what we have in task. So here, the first few tasks we're looking at now. Yeah, evidence number, membership number, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to be using 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 as my membership number, 8, up to 8 now. Simon White is your name, and then you're going to be doing all these tasks accordingly. We already set it up now. So here on the first screen, it says sales. There are 3 different codes, and purchases is going to be under these 2 codes. And then we need to set this information up. Okay, so let's go here. Click on nominal codes before we go anywhere else. If you get to the screen, if you see like that way, don't be worried, because this one is much better for you to find this information and preset those. So look at the sales and look at the product sales. If you look at the product sales, then you'll see here the code 4000s. These code 4000s are the ones you need to be amending now. So I'm going to select these 3. Then I'm going to edit. Then I'm going to say sales. So this is going to be online sales, isn't it? So let's change this to online sales. So if you get that screen, press save, close that one. So go back to sales now. So if you go into product sales, you see that name has changed to online sales. So similar to, we're going to change this one, and this is going to be sales to shops. No. You don't have to exactly follow what it shows there. And then you already done 4000. So in this screen also, you can straight away type the number if you know the number which one was, because you already have 4000, 4001, and we're going to do 4002. So sales to shops south. Okay, so I have done that now. Close this. And then also you can change this to a list view. So if you say list view here, analyzer is going to be bunch them up to their each categories. A list view, though, it shows you a different way how the things are done. Every one of them comes into a nominal code. It will be listed separately. So if you look at that here, material purchased and material imports are 5000 and 5001. So let's go to the analyzer window. So look at the purchases, click on it, and click on the purchases. And this one we will change to purchases. Completed units. Save that one. And 5001 is going to be purchases raw materials. So I have done those two as well. Got capital for the first letter, raw materials there. So I have done them all, and there is nothing else I need to preset on the sales and purchases. And then also, guys, it's best to know what categories each will fall into. If you notice that now, sales, purchases, direct expenses, overheads, we don't have to worry about it. What you need to remember, the list format, it will show you a really clear introduction of how the nominal codes are split into different categories. So if you have a fixed asset or non-current assets, they will be from 0010 to 0051. If you need more of this, you can always add a number like which is not occupied. So if you want a new product, you haven't have that information here. For example, if they say something like let me see, furnitures and fittings, plant and machinery, office, computer equipment. So there is no computer equipment here. How I'm going to do it? You can either add a code. So what is the next code after this? You can yes 0060 and the depreciation for that one. We call that accumulated depreciation now. You don't need to know what it is because for level 2 students, that is a bit too far. So we will introduce you that every fixed asset will always come with something attached to it as a liability because of the depreciation. We call that an accumulated depreciation. You will learn about it all in your next year. So it's something to look forward to. But if you want to enter a fixed asset, you always have to attach something against it as a depreciation against that asset. So we have to use 0060 or 0061 for your depreciation. Or if you really don't want to, just change one of those names. So if you go here, plant and machinery, you can change that name to whatever the assets you like because it depends on what type of business it is. You can have any different sort of fixed assets there, but it's entirely up to you how you want to proceed. But please do not go into make the numbers somewhere else. For sales, please do not go in put a number in 0060. Sales is an income, that's a different category for that. So if you notice from here to here, all of the numbers are asset side of it. Then here you have current assets up to this one here. This is all current assets. If you notice that here, you have 0010 for your debtors control account. So if you want to know this, this is all in that similar category. So after that, you have 2100. This is your creditors control account, which is your PLCA. PLCA is going to be what? This is going to be your the current liability. So all the current liabilities will be in there. And then you have, if you further down, you have capital, which is your obviously uh, the one of the special liabilities, and then something for drawings. It's against this one. 4000 is going to be all your sales or income. So if you have a new code you need to use, we have to do that here. And then 5000 is for your purchases. 6000 is going to be your labor and anything to do with direct expenses. And 7000 is going to be indirect expenses. All the expenses will be mostly in either 7000 or 8000. If you think you cannot find something, go and look at it at 7000 and 8000. You will definitely find it there. If you see, I don't know where's this, please look for it in 7000 or 8000 and you will definitely find it there. Okay. And then obviously something important, this suspense account. This suspense account, it's going to be something you'll be using later on. Okay. Which I will explain to you later. So now let's see this question. First question is all about setting up customers. So this one's all completed. We already have the program date is set for the first, and there's nothing else here you have to worry about. So to do Sage very effectively, you need to know there is only several tabs you have to use because you don't have to worry about any others. One of them is going to be customers. The customers is, essentially is your sales ledger. Sales ledger is where you keep all your credit customer balances. And then you have the suppliers. This is also similar to that one, but this is going to be a purchase ledger, which is having all your supplier information, credit suppliers. And then the bank account is going to be your cash books, all your cash books here, cash book, petty cash book, they all will be here. Nominal codes is what we'll call your general ledger. General ledger will have all your ledger balances there. And finally, the transactions. This is the very important screen to remember: customers, suppliers, bank account, nominal codes, and transaction. You don't need to do any other things from this. Okay. Transactions are your, put it this way, what we call, this is your audit trail. So all the transaction you enter will go here, but we will show you if you have to make an amendment or something gone wrong. This is where you go to get that corrected. So here, let's look at this one now. Let's do the customers. So we click on new and edit. You get to this screen now. All you need to do is start entering what is the information you got now. So here, the first one is going to be GIF 001. So it will show straight away new account. So I'm going to start typing. I'm going to type the addresses because I just want to save time on it. In the exams, please make sure you type that information. And then I'm going to go to credit control to show you that 30 days we entered already, it's already here, and the terms agreed is already here. If you didn't preset them early, this information you have to type in manually for every one of them. If you notice, these two have 30 days payment terms. You don't have to change anything for them. For this one, you may have to change. Okay, so here, there's only one change you're going to make. So it's going to save you at least 5 keystrokes somewhere here and there. All right. So this way I have entered all of that now. Nothing else I need to be worried about. But here I have to enter the opening balance. Opening balance is £844.26. So be careful when you get to the screen. Yes, if we ask you to save, press save yes. And then here we're going to say OB means opening balance. Notice that date here. You see the opening balances, because you set your program date to the first, this come up as first of the month. If you haven't set that for first of the month, this will be saying 38. So you have to change it all the time to first. In case you miss something, it's going to have some sort of a timing variance. Therefore, your payments or your receipts may not be working properly because you say you're receiving payment for something you haven't even incurred yet. So you have to be very careful when you're doing your opening in balances. Please do them on first. So here the amount is 844.26, 844.26. I hate this because I'm going to use laptop keyboard. Laptop keyboard is not my favorite, but I have no choice now. So I have entered the first one. Next one is HAP001. The name of the company is Happy Engineering. I'm not sure it's Happy from Iron Man. If he's in that case, hi Happy. So you got the same information, 30 days, terms agreed is already there. So I'm only going to go and do the balances. Balances 1425.65. So here I'm going to say OB 1425.65. Okay. So if you notice that here 1425.65, press save. I'm going to make one mistake just to show you how to change if you make a mistake. Okay, so here I have done that one. I saved the balance. Now I'm going to move to the next one, PER001. Then the company name is Perry Cars. Here I'm going to go to the credit control. I know this is 45 days credit, so I'm going to change that one. Press details, then come down here, put the amount. There I'm going to make a blatant mistake, so I'm going to show you how I will be able to change that amount. It's going to be 4,680. So I'm going to put only 4,600 here. Okay, so £80 is not being typed properly. So that £80, I will do that later on. I'll show you how to get there once I've done the suppliers. So I have done all these three balances. I'm going to show you quickly. See, all these three balances are showing there. And if you go to your nominal codes, there is an amount populated for your debtors control account. But now we will go into your suppliers. So suppliers, then we look at it here. There are three suppliers we need to add as well. Move this information now. 60 days, 30 days, and 30 days. One of the suppliers was kind enough to give us 60 days. So we will make sure we don't make mistakes with them. So we say Fabrics Delight. and go into your credit control. I'm not typing the addresses, guys, because it's just not going to make any difference to what you do. So um, you type that in. I'm just going to ignore that, the extra bits. So here reference is going to be opening balance. Again, you see the first is there, 132011, 1320.11. I've saved that one. Save. The next one is QCE001. And this is going to be QC exclusive. Yes, I'm not checking the 30 days because it's already there. OB, the amount is for this 920, 46, 920.46. Save that information there. Save, and the next one I'm going to do TOT001. So here, totally would. I'm going to show you something else as well. So I have entered it, but I forgot to enter the customer's supplier's balance, £135.56. So how I correct those? So I'm just going to go here. I can select that customer or supplier. I'll be able to get back to there. And then, of course, we can type the information again. In case you missed it, you can always go there and type that 135.56, 135.56. So we've done that, and now we save. So we can close this now, and let's go back to your transactions and nominal codes, and you will see your customer balance and your supplier balances are there. But as promised, because I have made a blatant mistake, I'm going to show you how to amend it. So go to your transaction. If you notice, every one of those entries you made, you have entered. And if you notice that here, they entered into those particular accounts, because they will go into your sales ledger control account and the purchase ledger control account. But you also notice there is a nominal entry into your suspense account as well. Because when there is a debit entry, if there is no credit entries made, or when there is a credit entry, when there is no debit entries made, what Sage does, it automatically creates a corresponding suspense account in the system, so it matches your debits and credits. But the suspense account, we have to find a way to clear it later on, which I'll show you how to do it in a minute. Okay, so here, this is the one we made the mistake to. So I'm going to double click on that Perry's, say number 3, sales invoice, because this is the opening balance. If you notice, £4,600, it should be £4,680. So what do you need to do? Go here, edit. See that T9, please do not change. The only tax codes you need to worry about is going to be T0 and T1. T1 is your standard 20%. T0 is going to be your zero rated VAT. Okay, you're not going to talk about VAT exempt anyway. So with VAT exempt, it's nothing to do with that. T0 or T1 is the only one you have to change. T9, do not change. So edit, and then this amount, I'm going to change it to 4,680. There's no VAT to be worried about. And then press save. It asks you want to post the changes. Post the changes. Now you notice that amount has changed to 4,680. And also right at the bottom of the screen, you have seen a deleted transaction. It says this is the original transaction. See transaction number 3. This is deleted because the figure was wrong. So if you see a deleted transaction, you see that in red. And this is the correct transaction now. So the audit trail doesn't forget anything you do. Even if you delete something, it will show you it's been deleted, but you need to go and check it. This is very good and very important for accountability, because you need to know what actually going on. So if somebody asks you why you delete the transaction, you can show the evidence. It was data entry error. We have corrected the right invoice amount there. So there is 2 entries corresponding to each other. Now let's go back to nominal account again. This is the new updated balances. But if you go scroll all the way down, notice that there's a suspense account. This suspense account will be cleared eventually when we're going to enter the rest of the balances. So here, if you notice, this is the opening trial balance you have to do. And keep an eye out on this note, 1, 2s, and 3s. Okay. So if you notice that here, as the individual customer and supplier balance has already been posted, the accounting software you use may require to make separate adjustment for these. So therefore, these 2, you don't have to worry about because they've been pre-entered. So what I'll do, I just go here now, change the name. So I say sales ledger control account. I'm going to save the name as SLCA, and this one I'm going to change it to purchases ledger control account. So I'll save that as well. We've done that now. Next one is going to be how to enter the opening balances. So now I'm going to show you a really good trick. So let's see what are the names I need to change. So if I see there is a computer equipment, delivery vehicles, fixtures and fittings, they are the three assets. So here, what I can do, I can change this to office equipment, to your computer equipment. Delivery vehicle, motor vehicles, I can change to delivery vehicles. And then, of course, the fixtures and fittings, I can change this furnitures and fixtures. Okay, so these names, let's change them quickly. So here, select those four, and I'm going to edit. So here, plant and machinery. Now, why I choose plant and machinery? Motor vehicles. Okay, now edit. So the office equipment, I'm going to change into computer equipment, save, press next. So here, computer equipment again, depreciation. You don't have to type this accumulated bit. Don't worry about it because you're not going to lose marks if you don't write it. Okay. Then furnitures and fixtures. So I'm going to say fixtures and fittings. Okay, saves time. Next one. So here, fixtures and things depreciation. The next one is going to be, instead of motor, I'm going to say delivery vehicles. And the next one is delivery vehicles depreciation. Okay, so done them all now. Then we have to carry on entering the balances. For that one, we have changed the name, so we have chosen them already. Next one is bank current account. So where's the bank current account? It's going to be 1200. Then petty cash is 1230. Sales ledger and the purchase ledger, we don't have to worry about, they're already there. And the sales and purchases tax account. So here, note 2 suggests software you use may not require to post these balances individually. The opening balances of the account is this credit amount if you have only a single brought forward balance. So here on our software, because I clicked it, it just lost all of it now. Click on the control button when you're going to select multiple entries. If you don't press the control account, you will lose all the selection the way I have just lost it, because if you click somewhere else, it just all goes away. So here, purchases and your sales tax control account, we select them individually because as per se, they have both of those accounts separately because this is your output tax and this is your input tax. And what else we have here? We have capital. We have chosen that. But here though, if you notice, the rest of the number threes, it says these nominal accounts are needed for transaction taking place in June. So if you have any of this information, you may have to change the name of the system later on. Okay, so bear for a second, please. Now, our job is to enter the opening balances according to what it says in the system. So what we're going to do now, we're going to do this as a journal entry. Easier if you've done this way. So if you open it like a journal entry, if you select all the data you have, this one, and click journal entry, if you notice, all the information here are populated, okay? So this way, I'll know where is my entry is going to go to. Okay, so here I'm going to click on computer equipment here. So let's see. Let's move this little bit this side so I can bring this over here so I know what has been entered. So now again, I'm going to go journal entry. So it won't impede my figures. Okay, in your computer screens, when you're doing the PC, this is going to be a lot easier because your the screen is going to be a lot bigger and you'll be able to put multiple screens at the same time. So the computer equipment for the value of £4,600 and the depreciation for that one was calculated as £1,200. Make sure your debits and credits are correct. If you don't do your debits and credits and correct, then this method won't work for you. Make sure follow the debits and credits correctly, and then we can update the amount as it is. Okay, 22,800, 5,000. And then you have fixtures and all right, here you go. Fixtures and fittings is going to be 6,445. See, I already made a mistake, but I'm just going back there and retraced it before I even press save. Okay, so you need to make sure you follow the right information there. Okay, 22,800, 5,000 here. Bank current account had a balance of 13,984 pounds and 24 pence. Petty cash account has 75 pounds. Sales tax control account has 12,100 pounds. Purchases tax control account is going to be 7540, and the capital 40,093.02. So we have done that two balances now. So if you noticed, there is a balance of 4,573.78. Okay, so here I'm going to prove it for you. That is the amount we have on our suspense account. So if you go all the way down, see 4573.78, because that is the balance of your debits and credits earlier, but now that balance can be cleared by creating the suspense account entry into the credit side, because your credit side is more. So therefore, in the debit side, we put 4573.78. And now if you notice, the balance has become zero. So once the balance becomes zero, you can save it. If you don't enter this amount, for example, I'm going to remove it and press save. It says journals do not balance, because you must have a balancing entry in your journal to save any journal entries. You see, debits and credits must be there. So therefore, I'm going to do journal again, 9998. And then also remember, you cannot leave something blank as well. If you leave something blank, and then also there's no transaction value entered. See, notice error now. That error suggested there is a blank entry. You must not leave anything blank. Now let's save this and let's close this one. And now let's prove your suspense account in fact disappeared. Notice there is no suspense account. But then I'm going to show you something even better. Click on the trial balance, run the trial balance. In the exam, please don't worry about changing dates on any of the reports, because whatever reports you're going to pull, it is only for you. Therefore, you will not have an issue of having a different dates or anything like that. Okay. Let me see. Press OK. The trial balance has turned up now. Yeah. And look at that trial balance and this one. 62,394 pounds 15, 62,394 pounds 15. There is no suspense account balance in these transactions. So very carefully, guys, we need to make sure this is what we have entered. If you make any mistakes here, you have to be, going back and reverse all of it and redo that again, because I'm not going to be showing it. It's going to be a long-winded process. Please be sure what you do here, it is correct. If you know how to do this, that way you save a lot of hassle. And then if you notice that here, all the information we entered now is there. And then now the first phase of entering all the balances is now finished. So if you noticed here, now we have done the opening balances. The first three tasks are complete. Now we're moving on to do the data entry bit for your sales and your purchases and so on, so on, so. But now before that, just to give you a quick hint, program date now has to be changed to the last day of the month. The reason now, you're into your day-to-day business. Opening balances are all gone. If they're already gone, you don't have to worry about the opening balances. Now we're going to go into the day-to-day business. So what we'll do now, we go into settings, change program date. Yes, for that matter, 30th 06 2022. Please do not ask why there's no 31st, because June doesn't have 31st. So 30th is going to be the next setting. So if you notice that here, right at the bottom of the screen, it has changed to 30/06/2021. Now, I'm going to keep an eye on the screen of my Sage as well, just in case. I have 1 hour 43 minutes left, which is a plenty of time for me to do the rest of the transactions. So now I'm going to go here, and now I'm going to be entering this. This is going to be done in your customer screen. If you go into your customer screen, you have all the balances now. We're going to enter now even further. So we're going to do something called invoicing, and we're going to do a batch invoice. So for this now, what I will do, I'll bring the screen a little bit further up. I cannot make it any smaller than this by the look of it now. Yeah, so what I'll do, I'll keep it on the side here, and yeah, that's fine. That's all the information I need. So here they ask you to select. You can either select by here what is the customer, or if you're very shrewd, you can just use your keyboard. So first invoice is from Happy, so I say HAP, and it just comes up. Then now here I'm going to show you another good trick. Because the month is already pre-populated as your program date, the only thing you have to do is type the date. If you type 6 here and press tab, it will populate the rest of the box for you and saves you a lot of time. Don't worry about due date. The reference number is going to be your invoice number. Invoice number is 0. 001-24. Okay, and they're not using the sequential numbers. They're using somehow differently. I don't know why, but let's follow what their lead is. So here the nominal code is, because it's the shop sales for North, we know for a fact 4,000 it's not shop sales for North. 4,001 is in fact is that amount. So I'm going to type that number there. And on the details, if it saved you any information, particularly for that transaction, you can put it there. It says nothing, then obviously we put the net. Net is 800 pounds. And if you tab it, you see the VAT is already come up now, and the total amount is already posted. Okay, so now we get to the next point. I'm only pressing tab button. I'm not touching my mouse at all. Mouse is not being touched yet. So default, I'm going to say GIF, type that one, type 12, forward, see automatically populating everything here, 001-17. If your numbers are sequential, if you press Shift and F6, yeah, Shift and F6, notice it will automatically give you the next number on the sequence, but it is not that sequential number. I'm not going to be bothered about that. I'm just going to type manually that information. Okay, 00117, and this one 4,001 again, and then amount is 425 pounds. Just try to keep an eye on what is the sales analysis is going to be. So we have done that one. Next one is Perry's car. Perry's car, and this is amount for 24th of the month, 001-4. This is going to be South 4,002 for the amount of 2050. 2050. And then we have Happy again. The date is going to be 28th of June. Invoice number is 001-25. I can't see what they mean by that, because maybe it's not. Okay, don't worry. 4,001. Yeah, I'm still perplexed why they're using a different figure there. 1864.95. So I have done all of those informations being given to us. All I need to do is making sure the gross total of 6167.94, it is correct here as well. 6167.94, that information is also there. Then what we're going to do, we will save or post this information. So once you've done that, if you notice, all the balances now increase. So if you double click on Happy Engineering, if you want to see whether that activity has been posted, all you need to do is click on this screen, and it will show you what other things it's been done. So this is the opening balance. And then you have one invoice for 960 pounds, and then another invoice for 2,237 pounds 94 pence. So this is now debited. You see on your SLCA or your sales ledger, these amounts are debited because this is the amount they owe you. Happy Engineering now owes you altogether £4,623.59. Okay, so that is something we have already done. Now we're going to move on to do credit note now. So if you have anything here by selected by default, when you click on invoices or credit note, that company name will automatically come up here. You see, Happy Engineering. If you don't want anything there, you just want to enter as a batch, make sure you click on this clear button so nothing is selected. If it's nothing is selected, you'll be able to click on credit or invoices. There will be nothing there. So simply you can follow the information given to you. Okay, so here, I don't need that one. Let me move this across a little bit again so I can see all of that clearly. So I'm going to select credit for Happy Engineering. So it's going to be Happy again. The date of the credit note is going to be 26. I'm typing 26 only. Tab, tab, tab. The credit note number is 001-600. And then also there is a star there to show the credit note relates to some items on invoices 00124. So that means on the external reference, we can put 001-24 because this is the invoices related to the credit note related to that invoice. We can do that one. This is the shop sales note, so 4001. And then here, the net amount is going to be £155. Then now I'm going to go here, press save, and that credit note is now recorded in Happy. So if you double click on Happy again, and then if you see your activities, these three entries are on debit side, and then there is one for credit side, which reduces the balance. All the double entry you have learned on your bookkeeping transactions, it is going to be coming alive in the software format. This is how things work in the accounting software. So now we've done the customers. Let's move on to do suppliers. Suppliers are given to you like on this different way. So if you got invoices from suppliers, we're going to do batch invoices now. So let's do the batch invoices and let's start clearing them one by one. So the first one we have only two invoices to enter. So we have QC. So QC exclusive, the invoice we have received on the date of the 1st of June. So I'm going to put first. The reference number is going to be for this one is going to be 365. That's the invoice number. This one is being used to buy plastic chairs. Plastic chair is in fact completed units. So therefore, we're going to say plastic chairs on the detail. You may ask why I have done here or not in the invoice, because on the invoice, I didn't have a detail there, and the nominal codes automatically correspond to these two because it didn't say what we have sold them. Okay, therefore, it's fine. But here we know clearly what is being bought. So we put that information 1,500, tab, tab, tab. Then we move to total goods dot. Then we have 12th of June. The invoice number is going to be PRE dash /14. The reference number is going to be for that one. It's 5001 because it's a raw material. It says here plywood, 2-inch plywood. So here I'm going to say plywood. I have to type everything to be honest. And the amount is going to be £340. And then I'm going to be pressing save. So this way I have entered both of those. You may ask, Mohammed, why you haven't entered this yet? Because this is a credit note. If it's a credit note, it cannot go on the same screen. Same applies to in this one. Invoices and credit notes are two different beasts. So you need to make sure enter them on the right way. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to purposely enter this on the invoices. And let me enter that in the invoices and show you what will happen now. Okay, I'm just going to purposely do it so I can do something of an error. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to say tot. Invoice number is going to be 18. I'm just going to do this now. And reference number is PRE/14. I'm not using the actual credit note number. I'm just saying that here 5001 because it's a raw materials. So 5001 here. The amount is for £102. have done it and press save. But what do you notice now? If you go into your totally wood, double click on this. If you go into your activity, if you notice this all entered on the credit side, this is supposed to be a credit note. So therefore, it cannot be in this side. It has to be this side. So I am in the wrong side. So what should I do? Can I amend it? No, because here, what you have done now, you have fundamentally entered something on the wrong side of your T account. The only way we can do is a reversal. We don't do reversal for this. It's easier if you just go and delete it. If you notice this type here, they simply suggest what type of entries they are. SI is going to be sales invoice, PI means purchase invoice, journal credit, journal debit, sales invoice, sales credit note, purchase invoices. This is supposed to be a PC, purchase credit note. So we cannot change the type. That means we only can go and delete this. If you delete the transaction, if you notice, there will be a red entry there saying the transaction is completely deleted. There is no corresponding entry. It says here not see transactions. It doesn't show that here because this one simply gone. Okay, the purchase invoice was completely deleted off system. So let's go back to suppliers to enter this credit note. So if you click on the credit note, see the credit note is in red. Normally credit note reduces the balance, therefore it will be in the red now. So the date is 18th. So the credit note number in this scenario is going to be PRE CN3. External reference is the PRE 14 because it was related to the invoice, that number 5001, and the amount is £102. And on the detail, I'm going to say then now press save. Now Bob's your uncle. So if you go double click on this, totally woods, and then if you look at the activity, you'll simply notice how this transaction's been entered. So 2 credit entries and 1 debit entry. And this one, it's not affecting your debits and credits because it's been deleted. Okay, so that's give you some sort of an idea how this is finally come to this point. Okay, so these all done now. Now we're moving on to the next task. The next task saying the Grace Office Store sells most of its customers online. All payments made by customers are done through a secure online payment system called CashJump, like PayPal. Okay, anything like that way is going to be paid by somebody called CashJump. CashJump make payments to Grace Office Store at the end of the week using faster payments. So this is going to be coming into your bank account. Refer to the following online cash sales listings and enter these invoice receipts into the accounting software. So there is 4 receipts here of this amount, and then there is a star, an asterisk, just to say all online sales include VAT at standard rate. So therefore, this amount you see now, this is not net. This is the whole of the VAT. Whole of the amount, gross amount, inclusive the VAT. So now for that one, I had to go to bank account and make sure I select the bank account. I'm going to receipt. So I'm going to call that a bank receipt because this is not from credit customer. This is an online bank transaction. So I'm going to say a receipt. Now let's do this. So 1,200, the amount is, the date is 9th. The reference number is nothing there. The code though is 4,000 because you remember when you change the codes first, it was 4,000 there. So here I'm going to say cash chunk. And the amount is £4,255 and 66 pence. But you may ask, oh, this is the gross amount. How am I going to calculate the net? Sage has an answer for it. There is a button here to say calc net. So if you click on this, this will automatically split the VAT for you. So be very careful whenever you see a question like that way. Do not use your own calculator. Use this calc net option in the Sage screen. Do not bring your calculator to this exam as well because this software helps you to do all the calculations, so you don't have to worry about it. Okay, so here I'm going to show you another thing. If you have the same nominal code, same details, you can use something called F6 shortcut. So if you press on F6, it copies the information from above, not the date I'm going to change it, but the rest of them I'm going to press F6, 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 F6 cache, because this is a similar entry. You don't have to retype that, all of it again. Here I made a glaring error. Cache So the amount is for £3,854.25. And then I'm going to do F9 it, and it will automatically find the VAT for you. So it's going to be the same thing. The date is going to be 23rd. The amount is 3614.22 and 9. Got that one as well. Next one, this one. The date is going to be 30th, the last day of the month, 4,000. 1996.99. 1996.99 and press function I. So that calculates the VAT as well for you. All you need to do is just check it against the information you have. That one is exactly the same amount, 11, 20, 22. Yeah, that's fine. Now press save just to save this transactions. This is all done now. Let's move on to the further entry. So it says here, refer to the following email from Kate Allen, who's your boss, and enter the transaction into the accounting software. It says here, hi, the wages for the month is 6,200. This will be paid by BACS. Okay, so this is going to be paid on the 16th of June. So this is your bank receipt side. So let's do a bank payment. So bank payment is going to be 1,200. There's no reference number here. So we will say the date is 16. We say BACS. Nominal code for wages is going to be under 7,000. Here I can use gross wages or wages regular. It doesn't matter whatever it is there. So let's say wages regular. Okay, so I don't want to say gross wages. Gross wages is some sort of an expenses, isn't it? So the total expenses. So we will simply say wages regular 7,004. On the details say delivery driver wages. And the amount is going to be here, your £6,200. But now you need to ensure remove the tax bit. So here, change to tax code T0, so there will be no VAT applicable. Do you pay VAT on wages? No, if you don't, please don't worry about it. Make sure the tax code changed to T0. If you haven't done so, your bank reconciliation will have a tough time. So press save. Now move on. So here, now we go to task 7. It is talking about remittance advices. Remittance advices means these are the payments received from your customers. Your credit customers have paid you something. So in that case, we're going to go to payment, receipt, customer receipt. And you'll get to that screen, which shows you how it looks like if you're going to pay or receive payment from your customers. So here, this is from Happy Engineering. Happy Engineering going to be clicked on here. No, hold on. Happy. That's okay. Here they're saying here payment of balance owed as of 1st of June 2016. They paid you £1,425. Here the date is going to be 22nd, so I'm going to type it. Please do not type anything in this box. In this box, if you typed anything, that means you basically asking for the software to allocate that balance out. Because you know this is the balance is going to be paid, what I will do, I'll select this amount, and then I'm going to select option here, pay in full. Once you've done that, if you notice on the top of the screen, it automatically populates the amount for you. You only use this if there is a part payment of an invoice or something called payment on account. If it's going to be a payment of account, then you can have to use this information here to rectify that. But I can't show you too many informations here, but this is how you do. You select on that one and pay in full and press save. Just check it. There's no other information here. Let's save. Next one, it's going to be from Gifford. So I'm going to choose Gifford, and the date is going to be 30th of June. They're saying here the payment of the balance owed on 1st of June plus the part payment of invoices 001 and 17. So now £1,265 has to be paid. So what I'll do there now, I'm going to say £1,265. I'll choose the amount now. Here I'm going to say this is going to be paid in full. And then also whatever left on this, I'm going to say pay in full as well. So whatever amount left over, it is using as a part payment of the invoice 17. Now, if you add both of those, that is going to be equal to that amount. If you didn't have this, if you press pay in full, it will add all that 510 and will bring the total amount here. Okay, so you have to be very careful which one you use that total amount, and if you don't, you may end up in a little bit of a dilemma there, but it's still end of the day, it's going to be working out as same. So now they have only paid full invoice and a part invoice, and press save, and then you have done with it. Now we have three more to make. So here we cannot do on the same screen. Why? Because they were received. This is the paid list. So we're going to pay two of the credit suppliers, and then also Mick Motors. Mix Motor is not a credit supplier, does not have an account with the business. So in that case, you have to be very careful. You have to pay Mick Motors as a bank payment, not as a supply payment. Okay, so we will get back to him later, and we'll do supply payment first. So here, supply payment for Fabric Delights. So let's see here, the account is fine. And then say, the date is going to be 16th. There is a check number 000294. I can put the check number there. And then similar to what we had done earlier, we select that one. This is the full opening balance we are going to pay off. So we're going to say pay in full. Automatically the number come up now. Check number again 000294. For some reason it just kicked out. All of them are done. Bob's your uncle, we have out of the way. Next one is going to be for Totally Wood. So now if you noticed, there's an opening balance, then you have an invoice, and then also you have a credit note there. So they're simply saying here, they want to pay the opening balance plus invoice and the credit note. So how are we going to be entering it? £421.16. None of them are part payment. So what we're going to do, we click on pay in full, but you suddenly see a big amount there. But now if you pay full your credit note, that reduces the amount. So make sure the date is correct. So the date is going to be 29th. The check number is 000295. You may ask who uses check. We're using it for our educational purpose. So the £421.16 is all minus that. That's going to be that amount. And now let's save this. And then for Mick Motors, if I'm going to look for it, there's no Mick Motors here. Please do not add a new supplier. Okay, if you have add a supplier, that will become a credit supplier. They're saying simply Mick Motors is not a credit supplier. So let's go to your payments, to bank payment. Bank payment is going to be for 30th of June. The reference number is going to be no invoices number. So we'll put the check number 6. And the nominal code, this is for delivery vehicle repair. So we're going to look at the 7,000 numbers. Let's see, we have the information you're looking for. Motor vehicle repair. So here, vehicle repairs and maintenance servicing. So this is going to be 7,301. And on the details, we said make Motors. And the amount is £450. And that means £75 inclusive VAT. We're going to use our magic calcnet formula. And then it will automatically split the VAT for you. So make sure, follow the instruction very clearly, what they have said that. So we have done all of that now. Then we go to task 9. This is your recurring entry bit. So now they're asking you to set up a recurring entry for rent. Save a screenshot of the screen setting up the recurring entry prior to processing. You will be provided with the required evidence number for this in task 13. Okay, so we will know what is the task number. We will see what is the evidence number later on, and then we process the standing order. Okay, so here, if you want to do that, you have to click on something called the recurring items. So click on the recurring item, add recurring item. So this is the screen they want a screenshot of. Okay, so what we'll do, we're going to say we're going to pay from your bank account. The nominal code for your monthly rent is going to be somewhere on the 7,000. So I'm going to press 7,000 here. let's see a rent. Here you go, rent 7,100. And then we're going to choose payment because you don't have to choose anything differently. May use receipt sometimes if it's an income. Otherwise, it's going to be leaving as payments. So standing order, we're going to say, and we're going to choose how often we're going to pay. Do you pay rent monthly for every day? You pay every 1 month. So we're going to say every 1 month. And this is going to be done until 12 months for the year, isn't it? They're saying here, they're setting up the recurring entry for rent, and they're saying here, owner of the unit book increase the month rent charge annually on 1st of June. Recurring payment is set up on the 1st of June and is set up for 12 months, but it's not applicable. So we're going to do that here for 12 months. And if you've done that way, it will show you if your first rent is paid on 1st of June, your last payment will be on 1st of May next year. So this May, you would have paid the last entry. And then, of course, if you haven't chosen the number of posting, it will go as perpetual. That means it can go on forever. But we'll choose 12 months, so we can amend that accordingly. So the rent amount is £600. Jesus, that is the lowest rent I can, see for a business unit. It's not possible, but it is for exam purposes. So we put that £600 there. And also there's no VAT applicable, so we put T0. We don't have to worry about the VAT is going to be entered in a different code. So T0 or T1, these are the only two things you have to worry about. Use T0 here. You can use T9, but I would recommend you to keep it simple. Just say T0. So this is now the screen, but I think, oh, I already come out of that screen. It's fine. If you want to take a screenshot of it, double click on it and bring that screen back up. So for now to do the screenshot, I'm going to use snipping tool. On the exam, you're allowed to use the snipping tool. So I'm going to click on the snip, cut the screen out like that. Yeah. The screen is already given you. What is that? What I will do, I'm going to save this one. So I'm going to say File, Save. I'm going to go to that folder I have created on the desktop earlier, Grace Office. So I'm going to say UACS evidence 23456. Right, okay. I'll put the number later on. Okay, so I'm going to save that there as my evidence. I've saved it once and that's it. But I'll keep the snipping tool alive just in case I need anything. So we have set it up now. The next job is to process the first payment. If you haven't done the processing, your bank reconciliation will not show this information. So be very careful of it. So let's process and post. I've done that now. Before you were saying 12 posts remaining. Now it's got 11 and one posting has been made already. So that is done. Now let's move on to the next task. Next task is task 10. We're going to do petty cash vouchers. So for that petty cash vouchers, this is all payments. I'm going to select petty cash here. Petty cash here and payment and bank payment. Now we're going to do a batch of 3 petty cash payments. Let me just move this so I don't have to go back to that screen again. So payment, they're asking what is the first one. First one is bank payment, not supplier payment, guys, bank payment. Yeah, petty cash account. The number is 9. The reference number is your petty cash voucher number, and the nominal code for stationery. So stationery is going to be somewhere around the 7,000. So if you scroll around there, 7503, I think. Let me see. 7502, 7502. 7502 is your stationery, and then you say what sort of a stationery it is. If it's not there, leave it as it is. The amount is £6 in plus VAT, so £7.20 now. And then I'm going to use the same information again. Date is going to be 9th. Again, they all those two are 9, 125. And this is going to be travel for course. So this is also going to be F4 7,000. If I press 7, so the traveling, it will be coming under 7,400. So we got that information now. There's no VAT there, so 14 pounds, and then change to T0. So there's no VAT involved on that. The last one's going to be 1230, 14th, 126. And then they're saying to you it's a train fare, so it's also coming under 7,000. Do they have train fare as a separate code? Let's see. Nope, so that's fine. So train fare 7,400, and this is no VAT as well, £4.75, and T0. So let's save this. All three petty cash vouchers have been completed. Okay, so here we can put the detail now. This says travel course. This one is okay. Done those now. Let's close this. Now petty cash is account updated with £49.05 because there were some expenses going out from there. Now, task 11 is all about how you do some journal entries in the system. So for that one, we go into your nominal codes, go into nominal codes, and then remember you've done the journal entry before, same like you're going to do some other journal entries. This time we're going to be entering it as just a journal. So we say here, because we're entering this journal to correct error, isn't it? So we're going to say error correction is our journal heading, and then I'm going to use the nominal code. So I'm going to say 00 computer equipment, one. The details, why we're doing it. Correction of incorrect entry coded on non-current asset purchase invoice from May. So it's something happened in the past, we're correcting it. So we're going to say correction correctly coded entry. Okay, so information there makes the auditor happy. So what we have done the amendment, and then this is going to be fixtures and fittings. Fixtures and fittings, and I've used that one, and I'm going to say the same excuse. Now the reason, the right word for that, and then we move on. And then next one is wages. There's an error on wages because remember we put £6,200 now, and then there was some error again, being an error in wages figure shown on the email on 16th of June. So here we're going to use 7,004. Error in previous post. 9 is going to be £25.95, and the amount is going to be going from bank account 1,200. Error and previous posting, and this is going to be £25.95. Make sure when you do your journal debits and credits, they match. If you see the balance is 0, then you'll be able to save your journal entry. So here, we have done that all now. We can close it. Now we're going to the big finale. This is your bank reconciliation. So for that one, let's go to your bank account. Select the current bank account, which you need to do the reconciliation form, but also keep an eye out for something here which is not being used. So here, if you notice, there's a bank charge here, which you might be able to enter that on the first screen. So let's do something called reconciliation. Before that, I'm going to give you a quick tip on what is a backup. Backup is something you do just to make sure your data is not lost while you're doing some work. So here, I'm going to choose the backup location as the same folder I have done earlier, Grace Office, because if you do regular backups during the exam, in case you make a mistake, something going wrong, you can always go back and restore your backup. So for example, I'm going to go back it up now, press OK. Do you want to check your data? No, I don't need to check my data. So let's back it up. Then if I go to do something, if I've done something incorrect, I'll be able to find that file here. That file is here, but that is something you don't upload to Sage. You just only keep it here for your evidence sake. So here, if you make a mistake, you can always go back to one of your backups. Like you want to start afresh or anything like that way, you may be able to use backup just in case. But I hope you don't have to come to that point. But do regular backups, like every 3 or 4 tasks, do a backup. It is a good practice to have even in your workplace. So let's go back and do the bank reconciliation. So I'm going to click on here and I'm going to click on reconcile. So on that screen now, it's asking you what is your ending balance. The ending balance you need to do here is what is your ending balance of your bank statement. Bank statement has £21,263 and 79 pence. And then it also asking you something here, interest earned. Did you earn any interest? No. So if you didn't earn any interest, leave it as it is. But the account charges, we can say bank charges of £14 here. So we can go for the nominal code for bank charges, which is 7901. Okay, so here 7901 is your bank charge, and the amount for bank charge is £14. So once I've done that, the £14, press OK. Bank charges were on 28th, isn't it? So let's change the date to 28. Yeah, press OK. Now the bank charge has already been charged there now. Okay, the closing balance is already done as well. So what we're going to do, we're going to start matching the information. So here you can either match it going by one area to another area, or you can on the time wise, but I always recommend you just do one side to another side. So if you want to do multiple transactions, you want to match them, you can click on the control button while you're selecting multiple boxes. Okay, so I'm going to telling you this one. I'm going to start from the opening balance. £600 out for your monthly rent, which has been done. £1,320 here. And then you have wages 6,225.95. But here we have only 6,000. But you also remember there was a journal entry we have used to correct the wages. So here, if you click on that and then click on that, that including both of that will be added to that same amount. So let's see if there's anything else there. £101. Do you see any £101 there? Which is the direct debit for electricity, but it's not here because it's something happened on your bank statement you haven't seen in your cash book yet. So what we need to do, we have to update the cash book. We will show that later on how to do that. Okay, so we haven't seen the £104. £14 has already been done for your bank charges incurred. We have done that already. And then we have £421.16, and then check of £450 for mixed motors. They're all being posted. So what we can do, we can click on the match, and that clears that amount this side. Okay, and then next one here we have the debit side. So here £4,255, £3,854, 1425.65, 361422, 1996, and then 1265. Easy as it is. So now all the transactions are matched. But in case if you see any transactions still outstanding here, please put them down to your timing differences. Remember your outstanding lodgements and unpresented checks in your exam, which are normally your timing differences. You don't have to worry about it. If they're in your cash book already, which will show here, but it's not showing in the bank statement, you don't have to worry about it. Why? These are the timing differences which will appear eventually when you're going to do the next month bank reconciliation. But for you though, you have to worry about this debit for electricity. Alicia, key is there, yeah? Hanging. So this information is now we have to be adding on the system. What we'll do, because this is a payment, so we click on this screen while you're at your bank reconciliation screen. We're going to do this as a payment. So here I'm going to do no reference number now. The date of electricity payment was on 27th. Done that. And then this one is going to be electricity. So I'm going to press 7,000 and look for electricity here. I just found it, 7,200. And then I'm going to do direct debit electricity. And this is for £101. no VAT here, T0, and that is going to be saving up the information. Now, it will tell you clearly what it is. Bank reconciliation doesn't, yeah. So here it says there on the question also, please remember, save the screenshot of your bank reconciliation screen. You will provide this required evidence number for this on the task 13. Then reconcile. So make sure you take the screenshot before you reconcile the bank reconciliation screen. It says you ignore VAT on any of these transactions, so we are also going to ignore the VAT here. Okay, that's fine. We have done that now. What you noticed, all your transaction has matching entries. Therefore, your bank reconciliation, it is a success. Okay, so there is no discrepancy whatsoever to be worried about. Okay, so here, let me see, it goes any further than this. No, that's the biggest it can get to. So that's fine. Yeah, all the entries are there. And there is no difference. The difference is zero. That's what they want you to know. If your difference is zero, that means your entry is absolutely fine. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do a new snipping tool transaction to take this one as a copy. And then we're going to file, save, then evidence. Just going to put X, yeah, because we can't save the name as the same again. So we just put evidence X because we will come back to that later. All right. Now close. No, you don't close it because it says you to reconcile. So let's reconcile this transaction. If the balance is not zero, you may not be able to reconcile it because it will say no. Do you want to still reconcile because the amounts haven't reconciled yet? So you have to be wary of it. You need to see anything here. It may lead you to have the reconciliation. So we have done basically everything. But now our job is to produce the reports which we use to upload to for the AAT to mark. Because here, if you notice, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. These are the evidences you need to be uploading. But I'm just going to go out and keep an eye out on the time as well on the exam screen. So here, surpass waiver. I still have 1 hour left, so that's plenty of time. So I have enough time to go and check my evidences. So the first evidence it's asking you in the exam, this is always going to be the same evidences. They will not ask you anything different than this information. Okay, so also remember, it's asking you the customer name and the account code must be shown on all of these documents. So you need to ensure that those information are entered correctly. If you haven't entered them correctly, that means you're in trouble. So be careful, guys. Keep an eye on it. It says here, document showing all the transaction with each customer dating during July. So we need to change that, save that evidence, uploading it as evidence 1A. So for that one, where I'm going to find it, anything to do with the customers, we will find in customer tab. So if you go to customers, and then if you go look for it here, there is reports. In this report, it's asking you show all the transactions. So what we'll do, we go into customer activity screen and customer activity detailed. Okay, so do not change no dates there. So it shows you every one of the transaction for a customer. For example, here, the customer has an opening balance. This one is a sales invoice for them, and this is a receipt from them. Opening balance, sales invoice, sales credit note, and then sales receipt means if they pay their invoices. And there is an opening balance, and then also you have a sales invoice. So this is the activity screen. What we'll do, we're going to export this into that folder we have created now, and we're going to use a name which you haven't seen yet. Okay, so we're going to use a name. You haven't seen that. So I'm going to keep the PDF file. We're going to give the name as UACS. See that name? Similar format, evidence evidence 1A dash 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. do not change the file type. File type PDF is absolutely fine. So 1A there, save it. So we have got this report. Let's move on to the next report. The next report saying here, document showing a balance owed by each customer as of 30th of June. For that one, we're going to call in our age debtors analysis. So here on age debtors analysis, if you can't see all the reports, just maximize the screen. If you maximize the screen, you'll be able to see more reports a bit more clearly. You're not going to see the contact. You need to see the outstanding balance with details. So if you look at here, age debtors analysis, detailed, double click on this one, press OK, and then don't need to worry about this here. This is the report. It shows you the amount that each customer's owed. £89.26, £3,011.94, £7,140. This is the balance for these particular customers. Okay, so this is your age debtors analysis. It's your second evidence. Now I'm going to click on export. If you think you have to type all those Palawa again, don't worry about it. The easier way to do is click on the name once. All you need to do, go here, change to 1B. You noticed 1A, 1B, easy does it. You don't have to even type everything again and again. Okay, so we have done that now, and we can come out of this. We don't need to worry about that part. We need to now go on to the next one. Next one is for your suppliers. What are you going to do for suppliers? Do you think I'm going to find it in customers? No, let's go into suppliers, reports and documents and reports. The same thing I'm going to do for them. But when you're going to do the reports, guys, just make sure you haven't selected anyone by accident. If you have selected anyone by accident, the reports will be solely based on them. So if I say here, customer activity detailed, what do you see now? You only see that particular customer. You don't see everybody else. So you don't want to be doing that. So you just make sure if you have selected somebody there, you either select everyone by clicking on the control button or just press clear. That means no one selected. That means the report will be for everybody. The report, then I'm going to say supplier activity detail, press OK. And what it shows you, it's all your activities of all your suppliers. So see that suppliers, invoices, opening balances, and if they make a purchase payment, it will be all showing there as well. Okay. Now we're going to export this, and I'm going to follow the old trick of changing the evidence information as 2A. Just in case if you worry, guys, I'm not tampering with the evidence here. This is just saving and changing the names. Okay, perfect. That is done now. Let's move on to the next one. They want you to know the, what is that again? A document showing the balance owed to your each supplies. Well, I forgot about that. I shouldn't have closed that off, but it's age creditors now. Then you're going to make the screen a little bit bigger. Look for the age creditors analysis detailed. Press OK. If you notice, there's only one supplier with money owing, and the others two have settled their balance. Oh, did I select anyone by accident? Yeah, because if you notice, both two suppliers have paid all their invoices. Therefore, we have only one supplier now. So we're going to export this supplier's evidence here as to be or not to be. Okay, so we have that evidence also done. Then we have done 4 evidences. We move on to the next one. It's asking you to produce an audit trail showing full details of all transactions, including details of the receipts, payments, allocated items in customer supplier accounts, and details in the bank account that have been reconciled. So that means they want to know whether you have the right report to do that. To do that, let's go here. We go and click on the nominal codes, and then there is something called an audit trail here somewhere. Let's see. No, it's not here. Let's see in transactions. Okay, audit trail report. So here, audit trail report. Then we're going to click on the detailed one here and press run. And I'll show you what they actually mean by this. If you noticed on this report, all the bank reconciliation transaction also will be showing on the last column here. Therefore, it's best to get the detailed audit analysis and this one audit trail, the report, and then it will show you individually what are the transactions you have done. And if we corrected an error there, it will show you what is the correction of error and the entry you made for your bank payment for your electricity and the bank charges. And this is all will be posted into your the audit trail. So what we're going to do, I'm going to export this as evidence number 3. And then now, next one, they want you to know the trial balance. So going to nominal codes, click on the trial balance. Do you think you expect to see a suspense account now? Because you already cleared it. Do you think you're going to create another one now? I sincerely doubt it. But let's see that trial balance quickly. So if you notice, all the entries we made is all related to what we have seen initially. All the numbers has been used. And this one finally going to give you 82441.54. This is definitely going to be the right one. So we're going to say evidence number 4. Is that all? We have done the reports they asked you so far. Hold on. They have done it. Now they're saying a screenshot for the recurring entry screen included all relevant input details. This is going to be evidence number 5. So here I'm going to go back to Grace Office's folder. This is the recurring entry screen, isn't it? Remember, this is the screen we have created earlier. So I'm going to change this to evidence number 5. Number 5 here, space, done now. So this is your evidence number 5. And the next evidence they're talking about was on the question paper. Where's the question paper? There you go. The next question paper, it says screenshot of the bank reconciliation screen. So this one I'm going to be showing evidence number 6 and enter just to save the file now. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 files to upload. So if you notice that here as well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that concludes everything. Nothing else there to be done. The Sage software has been sorted as well, but I will ask you to do another backup. Just in case there's a problem with your upload, you have a backup just in case you have that as your fallback option. AAT might consider your final backup as an evidence if there is a way we can prove they have done everything. Okay, it happened in the past. Sometimes there's a catastrophic system failure in the training provider you're with, and then obviously there is some way we can upload the data. Backup data can come in handy now. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to close all of this, and then I'm going to go to the secure access screen. Here they ask you the evidence. So we have the document showing all the transactions for each customer. 1A, this is 1B, 2A, 2B, task 3, evidence 4, evidence 5, evidence 6. They're all here now. What we do, we're going to click on upload file. On the screen, you have to choose where the file is because I'm doing a demo here. I don't have a way to show the secure way of doing it, but you will know when you're doing your mock exams in your institution, the file will be choosing one by one. You have to upload those files one by one. So if you notice now, this one, just click them to say you have done those tasks. You're not going to get marks for not clicking it, or you're not going to lose anything, but just for safe side, just click them all. You would have done it. So if I'm going to say submit the assessment, it will come back to me and say, oh, these other files are there. You will confirm those other files. And then what are you going to do? You're going to press continue because we didn't upload anything today. That doesn't mean the files are not there. We have done them. Also, we're going to set them as submit. And then it will tell you you're not competent because, of course, there's no evidence to process AAT secure access things. We haven't done our job, but we always think we have done our jobs. These files are all there for you to access. Okay, so if you go back into this Grace Office store, this folder we have created earlier. All my evidences are here, and 1A, 1B, 2A, 2B, evidence 3, evidence 4, evidence 5, and evidence 6. They're all there, and this can be used when it gets to it. Of course, you have the Sage software here, which is no longer a worry for me. I'm going to get rid of that as well. And I'm also going to minimize this one. I'm going to bring you back to main screen. Okay, guys. So that concludes what we have done so far with Sage. And good, as I said, good news or bad news for some people. Sage is no longer will be tested on AQ 2022 on the level 2 qualifications. So yeah, we'll say our adieu to one of those most useful aspect of the level 2, because many students did actually come in to learn AAT because they work in accounting, and then of course they're using the software, but you would have already known most of it anyway. But this is a really good way to put all the things you have done in paper into practice, because this is what really happened in an accounting firm. Whatever software they use, they have to use that, enter that data into the system. And the Sage is obviously, as I've mentioned, it's going to be phased out, so you just have to keep an eye out for what we've been doing anyway. Anyway, guys, and that should conclude for this year's level 2 specification. I have uploaded videos for all the other modules so far. I have done for your foundation synoptic assessments. I have done your bookkeeping transactions, bookkeeping control. Some of them, both of the mock assessment are online, and you also have the element of costing, one of the exams online as well. I'm planning to do the element of costing too, soon. But of course, if the spec is changing for the next year, I'm not going to be bothered too much about it. I'm going to look at the new mock assessments from the AQ 2022. My new video series will be released with all those, new modules, which can be expected as early as first week of August. So thank you very much for watching my video. And then, of course, I'm looking forward for you to subscribe to it. And then, of course, leave your comments if there are any suggestions, improvements, or whatever want to make this channel even more useful to many other prospective students and current students. Okay, guys, all the best. Take care. Have a nice day and good luck in your exam. Bye-bye.